Okay, hey everybody, welcome to Arts Spark Texas Community Conversations. And my name is Susan Slattery. I'm the Director of Outreach with Arts Spark Texas. And we're here today with Judith Estrada Garcia, who is an artist, a veteran, gallery owner, I believe, and mother. And I'm also here with Jerry Slayton, who is our education director. And Jerry got to know Judith pretty well when he was writing a blog about her work and her art journey. So I'm going to let Jerry give a more in-depth introduction, Judith.
Yeah, thank you, Susan. Thank you. Yeah, I have to say I've been kind of coordinating with Judith for a while now. I never had really the chance, since we've been in this virtual environment and world, to sit down and talk to her about her own personal work. This is kind of the strange thing, is sometimes when you're educating, working kind of alongside someone, you don't really get a chance to look at their work particular. You're kind of focused on the task at hand, which is educating. And I came to know Judith as a great educator and got to attend a couple of her classes that she did with our veterans, in particular kind of like art history based classes. And those were wonderful. And so I got to know her in that capacity, but had never had a chance to talk to her about her work. And I started digging through, and then she had shown maybe a couple pieces in our teaching artist meetups, and I was quite intrigued. And so we honestly started from that image that she had shown previously. I didn't know the backstory of how Judith kind of was into the arts when she was younger, had to kind of let it go as her career just kind of demanded all of her focus and raising her family, but was able to kind of return to it after her career change from the military back into civilian life. And I really love the way that all that has become a part of her work, and is that message is in her work. She seems to be able to manage any medium she touches, and I'm always in love with people that are kind of continuous learners and always dabbling in something new. I find I'm that way as well. And so a few weeks back, Judith and I got to sit down and really have a good hour and a half long conversation that maybe we can keep continuing today for everyone else. And I just want to thank Judith for kind of being super open with me that day and talking to me about her life and how her work is a part of that life. And I really love when an artist is able to open up like that. So Judith, welcome. And let's start the conversation tonight. Maybe we're just excited to have you here, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Susan. Thank you everybody involved. I've never done anything like this before, and it's a surreal for me. So just excited and to be a part of this. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I really like, Judith, how you almost took me through a bit of a chronology. You know, you really started me back with some images that you had first, maybe not first, but it was some of the fresher pictures, kind of just back after you had pushed into creating and trying to express something that you were feeling through your art. I wonder if you have images available, if maybe you want to start us in that kind of walk. A timeline's honestly a lot of times easy for us to follow.
Sure. Yeah. Now, like I said, I've never done this before, and it was pretty exciting, but at the same time, I was very nervous because I've never had to explain what I was doing and why I was doing it and how I was doing it. I came into art very, late in my life because I was focused on my military career and raising my family at the same time. And in the Marine Corps, it's a very, we do a lot. There's a lot of movement, there's a lot of action, there's a lot of things that we have to do. So you're constantly working, you're constantly on duty 24/7. It doesn't leave a lot of room for creative arts, and that's okay because we're there for a mission, we're there for a purpose. And so it wasn't until after 25 years in the Marine Corps and that I started doing a little bit of drawing again. And I'd done it when I was in high school, and that was my favorite subject. And then I started drawing a little bit just because it was kind of fun to do a little bit of drawings here and there. Nothing very creative. It was just fun. I was just basically imitating what I was seeing. And then I noticed after a few years of getting out in the military, I was starting to have some transitional issues from no longer being a part of a community that was, you took care of everything. You worked, it was on the base, it was your stores, your libraries, your eating establishments, everything was focused within the little environment of the base. That's my dog. And so once I got out, I no longer had that community any longer. I had to leave it, and I had to experience life outside of the boundaries of the military base. And I was very comfortable because after 25 years, you get to know the ins and outs. We had church, we had family services, we had a pool, we had arts and creative environment activities. We had sports. All my children went on base to sports. And so I knew all that 100%. Getting out, I didn't. So I was starting to feel some anxiety about it, and not knowing where my place was in society any longer. I needed to find a purpose with my life. I needed to know that I had meaning, because the military had a meaning, but in the civilian world, I no longer had that meaning. And for me, it was looking at art. And I didn't have any formal training in art, such as how to use the mediums or the different types of art that there were in our history, such as modernism or cubism or realism, or of course just different ones, Renaissance art. I never had a history about it, so I really didn't know the stages of art and how they move through the centuries. And I didn't know the purpose of art, why it was made and how it was made and how it was financed back when Da Vinci was around, and Renoir and all these other people. I didn't know that. I didn't know the reasons. I didn't know the purposes. So I was just kind of winging it. And for me, it was art that was just coming out of my emotions and how I felt, and with no real format or organization, but it made me feel good. It made me feel good to get my feelings out and to feel better about it. And so this first When You See Crazy Dreams is really just me coming out of my frustration. I think I have it in here. Where is my crazy dreams? It was me coming out of my frustration, and a way for me to just find my place. I don't know. It's really hard to explain because I don't really have a background, but this was my way to get out. So these represent my 3 children. And, when you have children in the military, they also are in the military. They also are exposed to a lot of movement changes, different things, loss of friendships, learning new environments, losing connections. And so my military career also impacted them. So this painting kind of shows me, and in little words in the background, how I felt that I had impacted their lives negatively, and I needed to move on. So that's this painting, My Crazy Dreams. It's acrylic with on a flat canvas, unstretched, and just letters, pen and ink. And it's only until after you see your artwork as it developed that you kind of see a trend with what you're doing. And that's what was happening to me. So a few of the other pieces that I have are this one here, La Roja. Again, this is an early piece that I made. And I started looking at abstract art. I started looking at figurative art. I started learning. As I'm doing all these, I'm actually learning about different artists and what they're doing. And so I'm trying to mimic what their style was. And this was me trying to mimic, I don't recall which artist it was at the time, but the lady with red hair. And then I have, let me see, another one that I started mimicking was, so here's a collage that I had a lot of fun making. It's basically a tiger's face way deep into the piece. This is 24 by 24. And I just loved it. And I loved getting the pieces together. I love doing things with newspapers and magazines. I hate to discard things. I hate to throw trash away that I feel that I can use. And magazines are a big deal with me. I get a lot of ideas from them. And so then I used acrylic paint, poured on with a little small point, and I started doing these little lines and curly lines and wavy lines on the art. And I really liked this. This was fun. I didn't really have to think about it. I just had to have fun. Some art, it's like you have to really think about how you, what art, what mediums you're going to use, how you're going to use them, and it takes a lot of preparation. And sometimes I just like to do art that's fun, and I don't have to prepare for it at all. And this is the time that I get to just relax and just go crazy and have some fun. I have done some pieces that are a little more structured and created with a purpose. For instance, I was learning about Diebenkorn, the artist, and I loved his landscape use of colors and forms and perspectives. I love that. So here's an idea that I came up with by using his example. This is a landscape that I did. So this is one, this is a different one. This sold. Luckily, that was fun. Then I started doing a little more watercolor. And this one here is a little Native American lady that in Georgetown at Southwestern University, they have a powwow once a year, and I went to the powwow, I took some pictures, and I ended up doing this little watercolor piece of the lady that was performing. And I just found it to be fun. And I started learning that, do I like watercolors? I do, but they're so hard to use because you really have to plan it out really well because the watercolors can run and take over the piece. So I like watercolor, but I don't like it as much because it's so restrictive. So here I have another piece that I created with pastels. Like I said, I've been experimenting with the different mediums and learning which ones I really want to stick with. And this was a pastel that I kind of had fun with. Bright colors and use. I don't know. I don't think I really care to go into pastels too much anymore. I find them really kind of messy to work with. And but maybe I just don't know enough about it. Maybe I need to learn more about pastels in order to love them. I've also dealt into some assembled work. For instance, this work I did, Madre. This is I created this about 3 years ago, and it's all found pieces from a thrift store. It's called the Carrying Place in Georgetown. All these pieces I found at the thrift store, the doll, the little glass bird, blue bird that's in the middle of that circle, and all the flower pieces that I bought there. And so I formed it into kind of like a Virgin Mary statue that you see at church, Catholic churches. I formed her, but I called her Mother Nature, Madre, because I love the use of all the flowers and the nest and the bird cage. And in her arms, there's little tiny quail eggs that I found at the thrift store also. And this piece was just a fun piece that reminded me of my Catholic upbringing, but now I'm more of my religious viewpoints have changed a little bit, but I have so much respect for the meaning of Mother Nature and how we need to protect our environment. So this has been a transition for me, learning about this. I've done a few ones to portray some political changes or some things to help people. This one is a large collage that I did, 36 by 48, and it's a really fun one. It looks like it says never stop, but if you keep looking, it says never stop believing in you. And I think that's a very important thought. This was made while my son was in high school, and I just always wanted to motivate him to just keep pushing for his dreams and keep going. And we had moved from California to Texas. The education system's a little different, and so I just wanted to motivate him, and this I did. And I did a few of these for his high school too, for his graduation project that they had, and so this was fun. I have let's see what I got. This one I did because of what happened during the riots in University of Virginia, I think. Yeah, Charlottesville. So these are the three girls that are represented, as I see: African American girl, Chicano girl, Mexican American girl, and then and then this young girl, Heather. She was a casualty of the Charlotte riots, and I wanted to memorialize her in this piece, 24 by 20, no, 20 by 20. And in the background, you kind of see the KKK and how they were part of the riots and other, people like that, because of the statues that they wanted to take down that represented a negative history for African Americans and everything that occurred during that time. This is acrylic on canvas and with some crackling that I used and the palette knife that I used. This is acrylic, really fun medium, very quick to dry. So had to learn to use some of the medium, like the slow drying liquid that goes into acrylic to help. But I was learning again how to use that medium, and that helped me finish this piece here. Let's see, I have, let's see, I'm into a lot of curves and waves right now because I love movement of the art colors, but also reminds me of the energy that we are all part of, whether we believe it or not, or see it or not, or experience it. I mean, energy in the form of electricity that flows in your house to power up everything, from the electricity in your body and how it's conducted. And we're all part of that energy. And I don't actually see it, but I feel it. And I want to display it in the artwork that I do. And for the Harmony of Life, I did that. And she's a pretty big piece. She's sold now, but 36 by 24 is this piece. I'm getting a lot into that type of artwork because I just love the flow of the colors. Here's one piece, Kiss of Nature. And I have another one pretty recent, is this one, Robo Girl. Another one this is oil. I'm really starting to love oils. I didn't think I would, but during COVID and the lockdown, well, I had all this huge set of oil colors that I found at Art Reuse, Creative Reuse in Austin. And it's a great place to buy your art supplies because it's all used and it's donated to this nonprofit. And I used it during the COVID to learn how to put it on canvas. And this is a fun piece that I'm using a lot of lines and curves to express my desire for the use of color and oil into these pieces. This one's Chaos Makes Me Beauty. I do believe that we're in a very chaotic world, and it's not just because of COVID everything that's going on globally. But I think we all live very chaotic lives with trying to maintain a quality of life with all the things we have to do, raising families, working, keeping up with our bills, keeping up with our education, making sure that our lives are in order. And as a mother, of course, I've had to wear multi-purpose hats, from being the soccer mom, as it were, or being the employee, or when I was deploying all the time, I had to leave my children with my husband, and luckily, I had a civilian husband, and I had to leave and perform my duties overseas, and of course in Iraq. And so I was multi-talented, but it was also very chaotic. I never got the time to actually sit down and of course do art. And mindfulness, which I just learned a term about a year ago, is such a wonderful thought process. And I really recommend everybody to slow your life down, even if it's for 10 minutes, and mindfully do something that you're not thinking about anything else except for that. Maybe just eating your food that evening or that afternoon, and just tasting the taste of the food, of just taking a moment to separate yourself from every other task or duty or responsibility we have, and just sit there for one moment and mindfully think about what you're doing. It's a beautiful way of escaping and collecting your thoughts and relaxing your mind in that one action. So some of my most recent work, this one is a huge oil on canvas that I did, and this is more where I've learned so much more about modern art and the forms and the people that began to experiment with minimalism, and so this is my interpretation of that and how I wanted to use this form, which this is a pretty big one, 40 by 30 on hard panel, that I used my oil paintings and a palette knife, plus some scraping that I did and carving out into the, it's a clay board that this is on, the image. And this was just a really fun, but it also showed me relaxing in that mindful state I was talking about. And that's what she's doing right now. She's relajada, that means to relax, tranquil in Spanish. And so this is a more recent piece that I did. And now I'm venturing more into this use of the oil paintings and the methods. I just want to show more. Here's another one, serene, pensando. Pensando means contemplating, thinking. And she's also on, and this is also Demon Corn, one of my favorite artists. I like the geometrics and the perspective and the calming of her body, and she's focusing on the distance and thinking about whatever else she might be doing. And this is her mindfully thinking, there's other things I want to do, or I just need to take a pause. Oil on canvas, on hardboard canvas. And is there any questions about any of this? Anybody want to ask me any questions? Or I know that Jerry's familiar with this one. This is a fun one between Ellie and Flo. So Ellie's the elephant, Flo is a flamingo, and she's just in between them. And this is what I'm talking about, the electrical waves throughout us, within us, and between us. And she's just relaxing. And these little two beautiful animals are by her side, and we're all connected. And it was fun because we had a meeting, Jerry and a lot of the instructors with Art Sparks Texas, and I had just started this painting, and the flow was in the middle, remember?
Yeah,
and
I
then
remember this. Yeah.
and then he recommended, what about something in the back? What about extending those flowing, that flowing, color around her? And that's when I thought infinity, the infinity sign with these colors. And so thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, everybody, for helping me with this. That's what I love about being a part of a collective of artists, is that we influence each other. And it's just a beautiful thing, because had I been doing this by myself in a vacuum, I don't think I would have came up with this myself. So thank you so much for that collaboration.
This turned out really, it turned out really well, and I like that
Yeah.
you did that with the infinity sign.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to comment on your two of your three painting. I love all three of your paintings
Oh, thank you.
that are currently in the veterans exhibit at the Hive. And
Yes.
just for
Yeah.
everybody's knowledge, that show is featuring veteran artists from all over Texas work, and it will be up through, I believe, December 3rd. I think I have that right. But I really like the green and the red, and how they're kind of playing off one another. And those two paintings where I took that photograph of you in front of those two on the wall, just looking at that, and you were wearing pretty much all black, and it was, I don't
Yes.
know, it was striking. But I love both of those paintings, and the you and I were talking about the textures in those, and it sort of impasto of the paint, which I really liked. And it's so interesting that you're talking about Diebenkorn as your influence, especially in that other one, because I can really see that. And I don't think of Diebenkorn as figurative that much, but
No.
I love that you have a figure in with that Diebenkorn influence. Really like that. And then just the red outline with the green, very strong, just dramatic look. Very cool. I don't
Thank
know if
you.
I don't know if you can show your other painting that with the it has the woman with the kind of flowing hair and the bee. I think it's a bee.
Yeah.
I love that
Oh,
one.
yes.
I love that bee so much.
Well, thank you. I know this doesn't show very well on the screen, but yeah, my little bee, I love it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
and it's a bee cake. So.
yeah, exactly. It was sort of perfect for the Hive gallery. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't even do that. It just happened to be that way. It's funny.
yeah. It the painting is much yeah, your image here doesn't do it justice. I'll just say that. I agree. I like it better in person.
Yeah, yeah, it is better in person. It's well, like anything, right? You just see the details, and you see the hand movements and the brush strokes, and like I love touching oil paintings. I know you're not supposed
Love you in the galleries.
I I'm not allowed to, and I don't, but if I could, I would. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would.
I'm the same way. I've been told in so many museums to back away from the picture, you would not believe. But I'm just like, look, I want to get in really close. I want to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it feels good to touch the paint, that's how I feel. I love touching the paint. I don't know, just fun for me, you know.
Yeah.
But I do have one that I'm working on. I could show you all.
Sure.
So, okay, let me get it real quick.
I saw something online, and it was silly, but it was somebody in an art museum that didn't want to be there, and so I guess he had gone with his girlfriend or his wife, and so he walked up to one of the paintings and rubbed his hand all over the painting, and they got kicked out of the gallery. And I was like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to do that.
yeah, it's a, you need to leave now, sir.
See this piece?
Oh yeah.
Might be hard to see, but this is about a pretty big piece, I guess. But anyway, she's
Oh,
oil.
luscious.
Thank
Those
you. She's oil on canvas. And I love the simplification of art. It just, so she's big figurative piece. So I don't know if you could, yeah. But I love this form now. And again, I got paint on me. So she's not totally dry. But she's a fun one that I just finished. But like I said, I got paint all over me now.
beautiful. I love it. She makes me think of like yummy, like ice cream colors and,
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
I like
She's,
that. Judith,
yeah.
are you, so I feel like you're pretty, prolific, that you're producing a lot of work.
Yes. Yes, I am. I can't stay still. And I love it because I didn't do this, for so many years. And now that I'm getting a chance to do it, I am like going crazy. Yeah, I'm going crazy now.
Well, there's something that kind of comes with, I just know I'm kind of an artist that works in fits and starts, but when it starts and you get that momentum building, like that's such a nice feeling too. Your work can kind of progress that much quicker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I think there's such a benefit in working at your art a lot. You know, you gain that shorthand that much quicker, or maybe like you kind of seem like you're really trying to be playful with forms now, and you might
Mm-hmm.
have never gotten there had you been just kind of continually making. You might have kind of gotten stuck in doing something really similar, but you combine it, I feel like, with your research and a new inspiration. So you're
Mm-hmm.
kind of constantly looking, but you're also doing a lot.
Yes. I mean, I don't have the benefit of having, went to fine art school, which I wish I would have. But I don't have the benefit of that. My time is limited as far as like my life, I guess. I don't know. But I want to do it. I want to learn everything. I want to learn, and I'm doing it on my own. I'm just reading on my own, and that's my thing now. My first 50 years were working woman, Marine, mother, wife, all that stuff. And my next 50 years is artist.
I love it. I love it. So, do you go out to, I mean, the past year and a half, I guess, maybe not as much, but do you go regularly to exhibits or galleries or
I
things?
did.
Hmm.
Yeah. I did when it was open and everything. I still do, but I go a lot to the online exhibitions everywhere. I'm a part of MoMA as far as virtual visitor, and so I'm
Hmm.
always looking at their artwork. The Guggenheim in California, anywhere that I can learn, and I'm a quick learner, so I'm piecing together pieces and how they all work together. So yeah.
Hmm.
It's interesting because you talked about a couple different kind of modernist artists, in particular Diebenkorn, and a lot of those people were kind of interested in the subject kind of being abstracted down and
Yes.
simplified, right? And it seems like with your figures, I mean, I see that you were stylizing kind of from the jump, which I think is great. So many people kind of get locked into realism, and realism can be a wonderful thing, but it can
Yep.
also kind of trap you in trying to make it look exactly like the thing, right? But it seems like you were able to let go of that, which I think is fun. But now I don't know, it seems like your figures are getting, I'm seeing less and less of the figure maybe, and kind of more and more of just shape and form.
Hmm.
Do you feel like it's going as well, or are you just letting it go?
Well, you're absolutely right. I think that, you know, through the chaos that I've talked about is really, I don't want to be as chaotic. I really like, okay, for instance, when I looked at Diebenkorn's work, I felt so calm, and just I could see that hanging in my home, and I'm just sitting there just going into the picture itself and being calm. And so I kind of wanted to do the same thing. I want to be calm, and I want to help other veterans or other people that need that calmness in their lives. I wanted them to experience it too. And so yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm you know, just like the realist that did landscaping, and then you have Diebenkorn who does landscaping, but it's geometric and calming. That's me, you know. I'm not gonna do the realistic Mona Lisa. I'm gonna do the Mona Lisa that's more abstract and more calming for somebody. That's what I want to do. Calms me, so I figure if it calms me, it calms somebody else.
Yeah, I can definitely see it. You didn't, I don't think we talked about Diebenkorn a few weeks back,
No.
but yeah, now when you mention it, I definitely see it in there. It's that structure of his pictures, kind of, right? And it's not his pictures, it's just the way structure works. It's kind of these architectural horizontals and verticals, and those are really stable forms. And I love the way you're getting though into, we don't think of the human form as really, I mean, I guess I'm not good with fashion. Fashion is supposed to be architecture for the body,
Yeah,
from what I
yeah,
understand.
yeah,
But
yeah,
we typically think of the body as more organic, curvilinear form, especially in that folding uh, woman that I guess is on display right now. I really feel like that picture, because you even reinforced kind of part of
yeah.
that painting with like a straight edge on one side to really like give it this seated planting pose,
Hmm.
which is cool.
Well, I just didn't like the way the paint kind of, when they attached the, you know, the greens and the other colors. I didn't like the way that looked. It just seemed like it was lacking definition. And so that's why I used it. Because see, I mean, that's why I used it was I don't remember what it was, but that's what I used the tool to carve out more definition. So I kind of wanted to make it real, but not so real. And these are things I'm learning too from like this was my year of Diebenkorn, where I'm learning all his work. And next year I'll see who else I'm gonna pick to help me get to my next level. Or even if it's that, I mean, I don't even think of it as like I'm gonna be anything popular. I think of it as that it's helping me get more defined and helps me to I don't know, have more goals in my life artistically rather than just doing it for, I mean, I'm goal oriented. That's how I was raised. And so I need goals for me to work with something. Um, that's why I don't know what new artists I'll work with.
I
Dude,
love that you said that my year of Diebenkorn. Oh my God.
This is my year of Diebenkorn. Just love him. Yeah. Because
do
I
you feel
had
like,
done, oh, I'm sorry.
no, please go ahead.
I had done a little painting that I guess had looked like Diebenkorn, and somebody said that. They said, "Oh, that looks very Diebenkorn," and I said, "I don't know who that is." I don't know who that is. And they're like, "You don't know him?" I said, "How do you spell that?" And so they spelled it for me. And then I went out and looked. I said, "Oh my gosh, they're right. I need to research more." You know, it was that, you know, it was like, okay, well, here I go. Yeah.
Are
So,
you familiar with Wayne Thiebaud, the artist
I
Thiebaud?
think I've heard of him, but I don't I know I've heard of him. Maybe that was part of one of my studies I was doing. I know I've heard of him, but I don't remember what type of work.
He's known for he's still alive, I believe. Um, and he's known for his huge body of work, and he's absolutely one of my favorite artists ever. He did pieces of pie, he did cakes, he did
Really?
he did highways and freeways around in California, around LA, that where it's like a compressed roads like this into a canvas.
Ooh.
He did innumerable portraits of his wife, of shoes, and super impasto paint to the degree now, sadly, that some of his paintings are, all having to be restored within his lifetime because the impasto is so thick on it. It's like icing, but
Yeah, yeah.
that Wayne Thiebaud was really influenced my own work a lot,
Yeah.
and yeah, just with that impasto. So yeah, get in there and check out
Yeah.
his work.
How do you spell his last name?
Well, it's like
Wayne and then
I
TH.
chopped it in the chat.
oh,
Okay,
you're
thank
so
you
awesome.
so much. THI. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Wayne.
Oh, I
that one
love
and Diebenkorn. We're just throwing out the most difficult names. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
in
Good
our
old Diebenkorn and
Oh,
well, Jerry, you if you want, you could pull up. I can give you sharing if you want to pull up a couple things. You're faster than I am at grabbing stuff. There you go.
oh, wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh,
and see, there's one of those.
look at
That's
that one.
that highway. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yes, I do love that. Yes. Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful.
So it's like different angles of things kind of compressed.
Yeah,
Uh,
I love, yeah.
but admittedly, the food paintings are kind of my favorite. The ice cream and the pies and desserts and that.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
you can
That's a
kind of
cool
you can feel
life.
the icing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Wow.
They go from like aerial to perspective, like normalized perspective and some really quick shifts.
I'm gonna study him then.
Let me know what you think.
Yeah, definitely. I like
And maybe
that.
honestly, Judy, a question that you and I maybe never addressed, but it seems like the most pressing question is why do you think it's the figure for you? Why the
Mm,
figure?
okay, so I have to tell the truth. Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
all
so
right. I'm waiting.
okay, so when I was a little girl, I found my dad's Playboy magazine.
What's like
And
a magazine?
Playboy,
Was it a funny magazine?
oh no, it's a high pornography magazine.
What's the
That's
famous magazine I've ever heard?
Playboy.
What is this magazine I've ever heard? Oh my gosh. Is it
Oh,
a football magazine?
it's a photo magazine with naked women.
What was it about that magazine you felt like, Judy?
I just thought the women were so beautiful. I just love their bodies and how they were contoured, and they were tastefully done. Photographer, I mean, I never saw anything nastier than that from my dad. And I just thought, oh my God, I want to look like that. You know, I just thought they were so incredibly beautiful. And that's always been in my head, beautiful bodies. Men too, I mean, men too, but I just was drawn a lot to women and the figures of women and how beautiful the body can be. And so I just still have that in me, that I love to draw women. Maybe because I connect so easily, because I'm a woman myself.
Mhm.
Uh, Maybe because I really didn't have any women friends being in the military. It was all male friends or male peers. It was all, you know, I was lacking that maybe. And it's just something I find incredibly beautiful. So that's why I draw women. And that's weird, I know, but
No, not at all. I mean, I think the female form is more beautiful than the male form. Really, I just do. I agree with you. Yeah.
mhm. And I didn't realize that, what was it, back in the romantic era, that nudes of women were paid for by uh, rich men that wanted to paint, like their mistresses, or women that they wanted to just have, you know, maybe stored away in their man caves or something, or even their wives, you know, but especially the naked ones, the more provocative ones, that they were commissioned for that reason. And it's kind of like what Playboy was too, I guess. You know, Playboy was magazine that had commissioned pictures of beautiful women. And so I didn't realize that. And I'm like, that's not why I have it. But and I want them closed or nearly closed because I just love them. I don't know. Or maybe it's the era of the women being strong and taking domain of their own bodies,
Mm.
you know, after the movement too. Because I kind of went that way as soon as that movement went. It was like, it was a little more powerful image in my head, I guess. I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah, the great thing, it can be all of that, you know. That's
Yeah.
that's the fun part too. The idea of kind of the odalisque or uh,
Mhm.
the Madonna, right? Which are like kind of women, but kind of like almost goddess in some way. You know, like
Madonna
the
has.
female form has taken a lot of different turns over art history, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. From the look where they didn't look right at, you know, the viewer, you know, their eye was like slanted a different way or looking a different way, you know, towards a lover that was in a scene or something. I don't know.
Yeah, just out
And
of the. You
yeah,
know,
but fully look at the audience.
it's interesting now that you've told me this, and I'm thinking about your paintings and the colors and the painting that's next to you that you're working on. We walked into a store the other day that had some vintage Playboy magazines on the counter, and there were like maybe 5 or 6 of them. And I just kind of glanced over at them, and I realized these were, I don't know, from the 60s maybe. I didn't get much closer, but I swear the backgrounds, the sort of like beautiful colored backgrounds, and then the silhouettes of them, I can see that with that painting right there.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
really do. Um, because it was like a, like a one piece fitted
Yeah.
bathing suit and just standing with the
Mm-hmm.
hair, kind of a bouffant sort of a thing. I'll have to
Mm-hmm.
go back and buy
What's
you
that? Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they were. I thought they were beautiful.
yeah,
I mean, luckily my dad didn't have other ones that were worse.
yeah,
Would have been like, ah!
yeah, like hustler.
My
Yeah,
mom caught me too. She, what are you doing? And I was like, I just these are pretty ladies, Mama. I like them. You know, probably in Spanish. So I did it in Spanish, and she probably thought it was
Oh,
crazy girl.
Oh gosh. Well, we're coming up on the 8 o'clock hour, and does anybody have any questions or comments or feedback for Judith? And if you all want to find more of her work and keep up with what she's doing, her Instagram is, let me see if I get this right. I guess it's Estrada
Yes,
Garcia
yes.
Gallery.
Estrada
Yeah.
Garcia?
Actually, I
What's in
sent
Spanish?
I sent it in the
Oh, I see.
chat.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. It's estradagarciagallery.org. You'll see my artwork there.
And
And
then
it's
you're
Spanish,
on
Mexican.
Artwork Archive as well.
Yes.
Your work is wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank
I really enjoyed getting to see it.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing with us.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for coming, everybody. And
Thank you, Judith, so much.
until
Good.
next time.
Thank you all for what you guys do too, because it's really beautiful work you do.
Well, this
And
is
you guys
great.
are all about it. And I've never worked for anybody like that before. And it's, well, military I have, different mission, you know, but yes, I love it.
Yeah. Different mission. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Judith.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
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 Thank you to our Arts Park Texas funders: Texas Commission on the Arts, St. David's Foundation, Cultural Arts City of Austin Economic Development, National Endowment for the Arts, Creative Forces, Austin Public Library, Donald D. Hamill Foundation.